Good morning, ma'am. This is the Group 5 and I am Ferdy Jane Conte, and our topic is about justice and fairness promoting the common good. In this video, we're considering to discuss the person who proposed the theory of justice and also the nature of the theory, including the distributive justice, egalitarianism, capitalist, socialist, and lastly, the state and citizen responsibility to each other, and the principle of taxation and inclusive growth. First, let us know about the author of the theory, John Rawls, he is an American philosopher, argued that justice is fundamentally linked to the idea of fairness. So he spent many years finding his argument in the paper titled Justice as Fairness. So he attempts to provide a moral theory alternate to utilitarianism. The utilitarianism means it is the theory that determines right from wrong by focusing on outcome. Raw presents his theory as a modern alternative to utilitarianism, which one that he hopes will be compatible with the belief that justice must be associated with the fairness and the moral equality of the person. He also addressed the problem of distributive justice and the socially justice distribution of good in the society, of which the theory is updated form of the ancient philosophy in a variant form of conventional, social, and contract theory. That this complex work attempt to develop a standard of principle and social justice that could apply to the real society. So now, let us first define what is justice. So, justice usually has been used with a reference to a standard of rightness. Justice is a part of the core of morality, which giving each person what he or she deserves. When the person deserves respect, then you will give respect. When the person deserves love, then you will give love, and that is justice. Justice is based upon the concept of fairness, for something to be fair, and no one can be exploited or may submit the claim that appear legitimate. While fairness, it is the freedom from prejudice and quality of people treating equally. It is usually dictated by our moral system. Fairness is often has been used with regard to an ability to judge without reference to one's feeling or interest. Fairness has been to do with impartially, na kung saan wala kang kinikilingan, walang pinapanigan at nasa gitna ka lamang, and that is fairness. Just for example, Ben steals money from the rich to give it to the poor. It is just or it is fair. It is acceptable based on the point of view of the poor who benefit by the money, but it is unjust to the rich who own the money. According to John Rawls, ideally, a justice society must offer the same opportunities to everyone. However, because of our imperfect justice system, justice then become unfair to the poor and be favorable to the rich. So, sa sistema natin ngayon, kung sino man ang may pera at may kapangyarihan, sila ang pinapanigan ng sistema at naiiwan sa laylayan ang mga mababang mamamayan. So, justice and fairness are closely related term and even used interchangeably. But to extend justice, it is considered fair when we talk about rape case. Siyempre, gusto natin na makulong agad-agad sila dahil hindi makatarungan yung kilos na ginawa nila. At hindi akma, lalong-lalo na sa mga kababaihan. So, because of the citizen's right to hire a lawyer, including rapists, kahit criminal pa yan, the thing is, it will turn out entirely different as what we expected. This is how justice works in our system today. So when decisions have to be made about how benefit and burden should be distributed among a group of people, questions of justice or fairness inevitably arise. In fact, most ethics today hold the view that there would be no point of talking about justice or fairness if it were not for the conflict of interests that are created when goods and services are limited and people differ over who would get what. When such conflict arise in our society, we need principles of justice that we can all accept as reasonable and fair standard for determining what people deserve. The approach to ethics has its roots to the teaching of ancient philosopher Aristotle, who said that equal should be treated equally and unequals unequally. These principles sometimes express us. Individuals should be treated the same unless they differ in ways that are relevant to the situation in which they involve. For example, in the recent typhoon calamity, the De La Cruz family have decided to help the area who got affected by the typhoon. So, they give relief goods in all family, but they also help one poor family in terms of financial assistance because their house has been carried away by the flood while other families are not. So, that's what Aristotle us to know about the equal should be treated equally and unequals unequally.
Good day everyone, my name is Jonaline B. Ramos. So ang topic na i-discuss ko today is the rules to principles of social justice. The first principles, the liberty principles is concerned with political institutions. These principles means that everyone has the same basic liberties which can never be taken away. Rules included most of them of liberties in the U.S. Bills of Rights, such as freedom of speech and due process of law. He added some liberties from the broader area of human rights, like freedom of travel. Sa second principles, the principles concerning social and economics institution. Second principles focus on equality. The rules second principles of social justice, tinatalakay niya rito na lahat tayo ay equal sa mga basic liberties natin pagdating sa political institution. Pero hindi natin maidi-deny na meron pa ring inequalities na nagaganap pagdating sa mga social and economics institution. Nag-i-exist pa rin ito in our present time. Rules recognize that a society could not avoid inequalities among its people. Inequalities result from things such as person inherited characteristic, social class, personal motivation, and even luck. Example of inequalities ay sa trabaho, politika, at even healthcare. The second principles divided into two parts.
Good morning everyone, my name is Rosana Laika Eitapiru and I will going to discuss about Raoult's second principle that divided into two parts. First is fair equality of opportunities. The first part, fair equality of opportunity, requires that citizens with the same talents and willingness to use them have the same educational and economic opportunities, regardless of whether they were born rich or poor, black or white, male or female, and so on and so forth. By offices and positioning his second principles, Rawls meant especially the best job in private business and public employment. He said that these jobs should be open to everyone by the society providing fair equality of opportunity. One way for a society to do this would be to eliminate discrimination. Another way would be to provide everyone easy access to education by De Guzman et al. 2018. Ayon kay Rawls, dapat ay magkaroon tayo ng pagkapantay-pantay sa bawat tao at ang bawat talento ng tao magamit ito na may pagkapantay-pantay sa edukasyon o pang-ekonomiya, kung saan hindi importante kung saan bansa nanggaling o lahi nagmula ang isang tao. Hindi rin tinitignan ng estado ng pamumuhay, mayaman man o mahirap, ay dapat magkaroon ng pantay na oportunidad sa kahit anong larangan ng trabaho. At babae man o lalaki at iba pa ay dapat pantay ang pagtrato sa kanila. At para maisakatupad nito, ayon kay Rawls, dapat ay maalis ang discrimination at mabigyan ang lahat ng madaling access sa edukasyon. The second part is the difference principle. The most controversial element of his theory of social justice was his difference principle. He first defined it in 1968 essay, All Difference in Wealth and Income, All Social and Economic Inequalities. He wrote, should work for the good of the least favored. Later, when he wrote A Theory of Justice, he used the phrase least advantaged members of society to refer to those at the bottom of economic ladder. This may be unskilled individuals earning the lowest wage in the society. Rawls favored maximizing the improvement of the least advantaged group in society. He will do this not only by providing fair equality of opportunity, but also by such possible ways as a guaranteed minimum income or minimum wage. John Rawls and his theory of justice. To wrap up, it is important to remember that Rawls considered a priority over his principle of social justice. The first principle, basic liberties, hold priority over the second principle. The first part of the second principle, fair equality of opportunity, holds priority over the second part, difference principle. However, he maintains his stand that both the first and second principles together are both necessary for just society. Kung saan ay pinaka-controversial na teorya ito. Nauna niyang tinukoy ito noong 1968 na isinulat niya ang Theory of Justice, ginamit niya ang salitang least advantaged members of society, kung saan tinutukoy niya ang mga taong nasa ilalim ng economic ladder na kung saan ang mga taong ito ay hindi sanay na sa mababang kita o sahod. Sila yung mga taong mas pinapaboran o may least advantage na grupo ng mga tao sa lipunan. Ginagawa niya ito upang magkaroon ng fair equality of opportunity, kabilang na dito ang pagkakaroon ng minimum na kita o sahod. Dito makikita na ang una at pangalawang teorya ni Rawls ay parehong mahalaga sa lipunan.
Hi everyone, my name is Edo B. Manzano from BTB TED 1. It is defined to be a fair and important point of view. That is to be adopted in our reason about fundamental principles of justice. As we can see, justice as fairness achieved through the nation of the original position, and the veil of ignorance that the original position does not know his place in society, class, natural abilities, intelligence, strength, sex, race, or even his own conception of good or physiological train, a scenario of which in the original position individual hide their identity behind the veil of ignorance, which is individual position set aside or hide is based on about anything. Everyone is behind the veil of ignorance that the original position is therefore a fair situation in which to agree on social agreement. Will the veil of ignorance, individual choice, that basic structure of society that the truth is just. And this is possible because just John Rawls argues that selfish but rational people who deducted from their concrete identity and context will be fairly choice to create a society that is truly just. He also believed that through the veil of ignorance, individual can identity universal belief about how society should be organized.
So, I will discuss the category of justice: compensatory justice, retributive justice. Distributive justice, compensatory justice, aims to compensate individuals who have suffered harm or loss as a result of someone else's actions. It based on the idea that those who have caused harm should be held responsible for their actions and should provide compensation to those who have been harmed. Compensatory justice. And compensatory justice aims to restore the victim of their pre-harm condition and to ensure that they are not left worse off as a result the harm they have suffered. Or in summary, while
Distributive justice is concerned with the fair distribution of resources of retributive justice is focused on punishment and holding individuals accountable for their further actions, and compensatory justice aims to provide compensation to those who have suffered harm or loss. So each of those forms of justice has its own goals and approaches, but they all aim to promote a more just and fair society. Retributive justice, on the other hand, is focused on punishment and holding people accountable for their actions. It is based on the principle that those who commit crimes should be punished in proportion to the severity of their offense. Attributive justice aims to restore balance and order to society by punishing wrongdoers and deterring others from committing on similar offenses. Distributive justice is concerned with the fair distribution of resources, goods, and services in a society. It holds that everyone should have equal to basic resources such as food, shelter, healthcare, and education, and that the distribution of wealth and income should be fair and just. Distributive justice aims to create a more equal and just society by redistributing resources and opportunities to those who are disadvantaged or marginalized.
I'm Ivy Bustamante from BTB-TED 1 to 5. So there are several socioeconomic political theories are in one way or another related to distributive justice. We have number 1, justice as equality, egalitarianism. Egalitarianism in justice refers to the principle or philosophy that advocates for equality and fairness in the distribution of resources, opportunities, and benefits within a society. It is rooted in the belief that all individuals should have equal rights and opportunities regardless of their background, social status, or other differentiating factors. In the context of justice, egalitarianism emphasizes the importance of treating all individuals as equals under the law and ensuring that they have equal access to legal protections and due process. It seeks to eliminate discrimination and bias, aiming for a society where everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed and thrive. So we have the second one is justice based on contribution capitalism. Justice based on contribution is a principle of justice that focuses on the idea that individuals should be rewarded or receive benefits in proportion to their contribution or efforts. It is rooted in the belief that people who contribute more to society or a particular endeavor should receive a greater share of the benefits or rewards. From the perspective of justice based on contribution, individuals who work harder, possess more skills, or make greater contributions to the overall well-being of society should be entitled to a higher level of rewards, such as higher salaries, better job opportunities, or greater social recognition. So we have the last one is justice based on needs and abilities, socialism. Justice based on needs and abilities is a principle of justice that emphasizes the fair allocation of resources and opportunities according to individuals' needs and abilities. It recognizes that people have different needs and varying levels of abilities and seeks to ensure that these differences are taken into account when distributing resources and determining opportunities. Justice in the context of socialism is often understood as ensuring that every individual has equal access to basic necessities such as healthcare, education, housing, and employment. It seeks to address systematic inequalities by reducing or eliminating social class distinctions and creating a more egalitarian society.
Good day everyone, my name is Jessica Wigan, BTV TED 1. So, I will discuss the John Rawls concept of distributive justice. The former module, John Rawls' theory of justice as fairness, basically concerns the justice allocations of goods in a society. This social justice theory is an example of the concept distributive justice. How can one determine whether or not distributive justice exists in a certain society? It is when, as John Rawls would argue, that inequalities through present are not very evidently and frequently occurring in a certain society. In order to avoid such inequalities, the society should consider the available quantities of goods, the process by which goods are distributed, and later now, these goods are allocated to its members. So, paano matutukoy ng isang tao kung mayroon o hindi distributive justice sa isang partikular na lipunan? So, ayon kay John Rawls, ito ay kapag pagkapantay-pantay, bagaman naroon ay hindi masyadong maliwanag at madalas na nagaganap sa isang tiyak na lipunan upang maiwan ang mga hindi pagkapantay-pantay, dapat isaalang-alang ng lipunan ang mga proseso kung saan ipinapamahagi ang mga kalakal at sa ibang pagkakataon kung paano inilaan ang mga kalakal na ito sa mga miyembro. It is important to consider that not all societies conform to a single distributive norm. A norm is a standard of behavior that is acceptable and is therefore designated as normal within a specific society. So, mahalagang isaalang-alang na hindi lahat ng lipunan ay sumusunod sa isang distributive norm. Ang pamantayan na lipunan upang matukoy kung ang distributive justice ay naganap. Ang isa ay karaniwang humaling sa distributive norms kung saan ang kanilang grupo ay sumusunod sa at kung ang mga gantimpala at pasanin. Inilalaan gayon ang distributive justice ay makakamit. So, punta tayo dun sa equality. Equality members' outcomes should be based upon their inputs. Therefore, an individual who has invested a large amount of input, like time, money, energy, should receive more from the group than someone who has contributed very little members of large groups prefer to base allocations of reward and cost on equality. Ay dapat na nakabatay sa kanilang mga input sa makatuwid ang isang individual na namumuhunan ng malaking halaga, halimbawa na lamang ang oras, pera at enerhiya, ay dapat tumanggap ng higit pa mula sa grupo kaysa sa isang taong nag-ambag ng malaki o maliit mas gusto ng mga member na malalaking grupo na ibase ang mga laang gugulin ng mga gantimpala at gastos sa equity. Sa equality naman, regardless of their inputs, all groups members should be given an equal share of the reward or cost. Equality supports that someone who contribute 20% of the resources should receive as much as someone who contribute 60%. So sa equality o pagkapantay-pantay, anuman ang kanilang mga input, ang lahat ng miyembro ng grupo ay dapat mabigyan ng pantay na bahagi. Ang mga gastos o gantimpala ay sinusuportahan ng pagkapantay-pantay na ang isang taong nag-aambag ng 20% ng mga makakatanggap na kasing dami ng isang taong nag-aambag ng 60%. Power. Those with more authority, status, or control over the group should receive more than those in level position. Ang mga may higit na nasa otoridad or katayuan, control sa grupo ay dapat makatanggap ng higit pa kaysa sa mga nasa mababang antas ng mga posisyon. Need. Those in greatest needs should be provided with resources needed to meet those needs. These individuals should be given more resources than those who already possess them, regardless of their input. So, sa pangangailangan, ang mga nasa pinakamalaking pangangailangan ay dapat na ipagkaloob ng mga mapagkukunan upang matugunan ang mga pangangailangan nila. Ang mga individual na ito ay dapat mabigyan ng mas maraming mapagkunan kaysa sa mga nagmamay-ari na sa kanila anuman ang kanilang input. So, responsibility group. Members who have the most should share their resources those who have less. Ang mga miyembro na grupo na may pinakamaraming tao ay dapat magbahagi ng kanilang mga mapagkukunan sa mga mas kaunti. In social psychology, distributive justice is perceive a fairness of how rewards and costs are distributed across group members. Such as, for example, when everybody contribute an equal amount of money to buy snacks and somebody who went to the comfort room to attend to some personal necessities come back and suddenly finds out that there is no more food left for him or her, would certainly feel that distributive justice is not served. So, sa social psychology, distributive justice ay itinuturing na pagiging patas kung paano ipinamamahagi ang mga gantimpala o gastos sa mga miyembro ng grupo.
Good day, ma'am. My name is Sheila Mar Flores and I will discuss to you the state and citizens their responsibilities to each other. Before that, ano nga ba ang state at citizens? Ang state ay tumutukoy sa isang teritoryong organisado sa politika na may pamahalaan at isang tinatag na sistema ng mga batas na namamahala sa mga tao at teritoryo nito. It is a sovereign entity that has the power to enact and enforce law within its border to maintain order and to provide basic service to its citizens. And, in the other hand, The citizen refers to a member of a state or country who has certain legal rights and obligations. A citizen has a formal legal relationship with the state and it is entitled to protection, privilege, and the ability to participate in the political process, as well as the obligation to adhere to the law and pay taxes. A citizen is entitled to vote, to hold public office, to receive protection from the state, and to benefit from other service provided by the state. And the responsibility of the state to the citizen. The government of a particular country has the following goals in mind. First, maintenance of law and order. The government ensures that there is peace and order in the country by enacting laws and implementing them properly. The government also has law enforcement agencies that maintain law and order. Second, protection of lives and property. The government ensures that the citizens of the country are safe and secure in their homes and workplaces. The government also takes steps to protect the properties of citizens. Promotions of democracy and social justice. The government encourages democracy and ensures that there is social justice in the country. The government ensures that every citizen has equal rights and opportunities. Pang-apat, provision of economic development. The government ensures that the country's economy is developing and growing. The government takes steps to attract foreign investments and create job opportunities from citizens. Panglima, provision of social welfare service. The government ensures that citizens have access to basic needs such as healthcare, education, and clean water. Protection of human rights. The government ensures that human rights are protected and that there is no discrimination based on race, gender, or religion. 7. Maintenance of external relations. The government ensures that the country has good relations with other countries. The government also works to maintain peace and stability in the world. And lastly, provision of employment opportunities. The government ensures that citizens have access to employment opportunities. The government also works to create an environment that is conducive for business to thereby creating more job opportunities and the responsibilities of citizens to the state. As a responsible citizen, palaging tiyakin na gamitin ang karapatang bumoto sa bawat halalan. Maari ka ring gumawa ng isang punto upang sundin ang mga batas ng ating bansa, magbayad ng buwis sa oras at handang ipagtanggol ang ating bansa kung sakaling tawagin or kinakailangan. Maaari ka ring magsilbi bilang hurado kung kinakailangan at iginagalang ang pagkakaiba ng ating komunidad. Naniniwala kami sa pagtrato sa iba ng may kabaitan at paggalang at palaging nagsisikap na matuto ng higit patungkol sa sibika at pamahalaan upang maging matalinong mamamayan.
Hi everyone, I'm Christian S. Concepcion from BTBTED 1. What is taxation? It is the process by which individuals or organizations are required to pay money to the government based on their income or property holdings. Taxes can be used to fund various government functions such as healthcare, education, and military. What is inclusive growth? It refers to economic growth that is sustainable and benefits all members of society by reducing economic inequality and creating opportunities for all individuals to participate in the economy. This means ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background, has access to education, training, and job opportunities that help them improve their lives. Inclusive growth is often seen as a way to reduce poverty and promote social justice. Multifaceted ang papel ng pagbubuwis sa inclusive growth. Una, ang pagbubuwis ay maaring makabuo ng kita para sa pamahalaan na maaring magamit upang tustusan ang mga pampublikong kalakal at serbisyo tulad ng edukasyon, pangangalagang pangkalusugan at infrastruktura. Ang mga pampubliko na kalakal at serbisyong ito ay mahalaga para sa paglikha ng isang magandang kapaligiran. Para sa paglago at pag-unlad ng ekonomiya. Pangalawa, ang mga patakaran sa buwis ay maaaring idisensyo upang itaguyod ang katarungan, panlipunan at bawasan ang hindi pagkakapantay-pantay ng kita. Ang progresibong pagbuwis, halimbawa, ay tumitiyak na ang mga may kakayahang magbayad ng higit pa ay nag-aambag ng higit sa estado. Sa ganitong paraan, ang pasaning ng pagbubuwis ay ibinibahagi ayon sa kakayahan ng bawat individual na magbayad. At ang kita sa buwis ay maaring gamitin upang tustusan ang mga programa sa kapakanang panlipunan na nakikinabang sa mga hindi gaanong pribilehiyong mga seksyon ng lipunan. Pangatlo, ang pagbubuwis ay maaari ding gamitin bilang kasangkapan sa pagtataguyod ng pag-unlad ng ekonomiya sa pamamagitan ng paglikha ng istruktura ng insentibo para sa pamuhunan at entrepreneurship. Ang mga kredito sa buwis, mga pagbubukod at mga pagbabawas ay maaaring hikayatin ang mga mamumuhunan na maglagay ng mas maraming kapital sa ekonomiya, lumikha ng mga trabaho at pasiglahin ang paglago ng ekonomiya. Sa pangkalahatan, ang pagbubuwis ay gumaganap ng isang mahalagang papel sa inklusibong paglago sa pamamagitan ng pagbuo ng kita para sa mga pampublikong kalakal at serbisyo. Pagtataguyod ng katarungang panlipunan at pagbabawas ng hindi pagkakapantay-pantay ng kita, pati na rin ang pagbibigay insentibo sa pamunuan at pagnenegosyo.